All right, welcome to a very special edition of the Sounds of Solar podcast. I'm your host, Christoph Bruin. Join with me, the esteemed gentleman, as always,
Prahalad Shivshankaran here.
And Russell Hamilton here.
God, you guys, we're at CleanPower today. We're live. We're at our booth 3059. And how's it going? What was today like, Roddy?
It was good. I got my 10,000 steps in, so I'm very happy about that.
Well, how many did you actually get?
Actually,
10,001?
No, I
You just capped it at that? You're just like, I'm done?
Anything above that, I'm not counting.
Yeah.
So, but it was good. It was good fun checking out some of the vendors that we work with.
Yeah.
So I think I did attend one of the exhibitions, which was pretty cool, talking about long duration energy storage, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I think there's so much more capacity and demand coming online, and projected demand that's going to be coming online.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see more renewable going to be coming online, and we're here for it. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Russ, what did you like about today?
Yeah, I got my 10,000 steps in plus more.
Plus
which is
more.
great. Had to go back to the restaurant with my buddy Raj, who forgot his iPad at the table.
Why did he forget his iPad at
He
the
was
table?
just so ready to leave the restaurant. I don't know.
Well,
Anyways, no, it's been great. Great opportunity to meet with a bunch of our clients and get some FaceTime. Definitely walked around and talked with some of our vendors. The buzzword obviously is BESS online, right? We're going to put a lot more BESS out online.
what was there? Okay, you're talking about getting BESS online, and my favorite, topic we talked about, and I've gotten educated on: AC coupled or DC coupled. What are people saying?
AC
AC
coupled
coupled all
is
the way.
just so much more simpler. And,
Yeah, more simpler.
More simpler. That's definitely
That's a technical
phrase.
term.
And actually, somebody did say they're DC coupled. Nope, not with my company.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Very
I'll take
interesting.
that.
Yeah.
Takeaways today, we saw, on my side, we saw some racking manufacturers, interesting tech. I got a nice latte at a booth. That was very nice. And it's nice that it's in our hometown. It's kind of playing tourist in a way. I don't come downtown Minneapolis too frequently, so we had a nice lunch at Britt's Pub. That was
very cool.
Spectacular. The nice football club there. So
what are the? Did you all get any good merch?
I got some data sheets. I don't know if that's marked.
You got what?
sheets?
Data sheets.
I
didn't actually do the merch run this time. Like normally,
No,
you go
I didn't do any of those.
I don't want to get stuff that I can't use.
Yeah, it's
right?
fair.
I wanted.
Yeah.
I got a diary, but I don't think I'm going
I
to
can't
open
hear
that
you from
until
over here. You got a
A
what?
diary?
Yeah, I just got
diary?
like a diary with
A notebook?
A
Or does
notebook?
it actually say like?
No, I think it's
It says
okay. Like a
Prahalad's
notebook.
diary.
No.
Keep out, and it's got a little heart lock on it.
No.
It's a hard lock, but it's like, was it an inverter manufacturer,
Inverter
like
manufacturer with
branded,
data sheets.
like Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have too much time here, so why don't we just get right into it? We're going to bring in our first guest, one of our good friends, Adam Pratt. Adam, why don't you come on down? Adam, welcome on the show. I don't think you've been on the show. That's correct.
No, first time. So
Very
appreciate
good.
you guys
so
having
why don't
me.
you introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you like to do? What's your background? All these kind of things.
So I'm Adam Pratt, design director with McCarthy Building Companies. Been with McCarthy for 16 years. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Our renewables group is based in Phoenix, and I like Atlanta sports. Not a lot of fun going on there. They don't win a lot.
They've had good teams in the past, though.
They've had
the
good
Braves
teams in the
are great
past.
for a while, right?
For a while.
Yeah.
Just not the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, and my wife and I have 2 kids, and we've got 2 on the way. So my kids take
Oh, twins.
Twins on the
Wow,
way.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Doubling up.
doubling up.
Is
Yeah.
that anything? 4 and done?
We think so. That's the plan. So. But we're excited, and that's a lot of my free time on the weekends and fixing things around the house. So that's what I like to do.
So did you say you live in Atlanta or you're from Atlanta? Sorry.
Both. Yes.
You live there?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And grew up there.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All of them there.
All the above. So is this your first time in at CleanPower? Your first, probably not your first time in the Twin Cities, though.
Yeah, this is my first time at CleanPower. I've gone to some of the other conferences, but I've really enjoyed being here today, and it's just been really good getting to mingle with a lot of the engineering firms like you guys that we work with, and some of the clients, as well as seeing some of the new technologies.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What would you say the highlight is of what you saw today here at CleanPower?
Oh man, for me, McCarthy's starting to get more and more into battery storage. We've got a really good backlog and track record on the renewable energy side for PV, but just seeing some of the battery technologies that are out there, and just how things can be configured in compact arrangements, and finding ways to figure that out and get more of that implemented in the sector. So,
Yeah, BESS is definitely the buzzword.
yes.
Yeah. Anything, well, I guess that is kind of the trend of the future. Anything that sticks out to you that maybe you saw here, or just general trends looking forward that particularly caught your eye?
I would say from some of the conversations today, some things that are front of mind for McCarthy is how things are going to be handled with the tariffs that are about to happen.
Yeah.
So making sure we've got a good plan to navigate that for the anti-dumping, circumventing, or counterventing. So we're making sure we've got a good plan. We've got engineers who can support us and having the agility to weather that storm. And then also how data centers really tie into the renewable space, because you need ways to power those data centers. And then things like AI are going to draw on data centers. So it's really cool that our market, what we're doing in this industry, can support that. So
you touched on that, and that's probably the third time I've heard that today. And what is it? I mean, I don't know if anyone here comments on it. I mean, are these data centers just drawing just ridiculous amounts of power?
Huge amounts.
Yeah.
Is there something to scale to compare it to, or is it?
Does anybody know how many megawatts a data center takes? Do you happen to know what that looks like?
I don't know that yet. Yeah, we're trying to figure that out.
Okay.
But
A ton.
a ton. And so, as data centers are going in, there's got to be a plan for interconnection agreements and power purchase agreements to support all that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a far vision on how to get prepared, because data centers are the way for the future.
Yeah.
Very good. What's the best merch you've copped since you've been here today?
I got a speaker. So
You got a speaker?
Yeah,
Who's
no,
giving out speakers? I need to go over there.
a tracker manufacturer.
manufacturer.
Somebody that we're trying to do business with, trying to explore more options and just kind of diversify our portfolio on the tracker manufacturers we work with. So.
Yeah, that's something that's definitely, as solar expands, I think we're all recognizing that we need to have a more diverse supply chain rather.
Yes.
And it's kind of critical at this point.
Yep.
Is there any advice you would give to a budding engineer? And tell us about what's your background. Are you an electrical engineer by trade, civil? Maybe talk about that.
So I'm actually neither.
Neither? Okay.
So I went to Georgia Tech and studied building construction and kind of went more of the project management route, but had a lot of exposure in my career to having to figure out really tough things from an engineering perspective. And I got to a point where it's like I need to move out of the field, because I was always dedicated to projects and just said, hey, raised my hand. I want to move back home. I can't be on the road as much. And hey, we're starting a design management group at McCarthy. You can build on the relationships you've had with engineers and really dig into the technical details. So I would say building construction is really related to the engineering fields.
It's still construction.
It's still construction. You've got to be open-minded to approach and find new ideas and solutions to things, because things never go according to plan. So I feel like that's what's really helped get me to where I am today. But advice I would give is just be open to opportunities that are out there, and everybody's got different perspectives. So be open-minded and listen to those perspectives, and just have good communication, because just because you're thinking something, you can't assume that somebody's on the same page as you. And I see a lot of times when we work with other companies on the design side, that's where we're falling short. We're just not communicating the plan and not recognizing they can't read our mind.
So I think communication's sort of like the key with this industry.
It's everything. Relationships and communicating is key, because if you don't have someone on the other side of the fence that you can reach out to as if they're just your friend, that's when you're going to get the best level of service, the best results. So just touching back on what Prati had asked here, was the role within McCarthy that opened up, the design management role, was that specifically for renewables?
Yes.
So did you know at the time you wanted to be in renewables, and how did that kind of unfold?
Yeah, so I had been doing healthcare projects for the first half of my career, high-rise hospitals all over the Southeast.
Oh, wow.
And they approached me and said, we're going to start doing renewables in the Southeast. We would like you to get involved in that. And that was from a project management standpoint. So for 5 years, bounced around on site with jobs, and like I mentioned, dealt with a ton of really technical issues. And I was really excited at that opportunity, because I always was interested in well, how do we harness like the sun, or how do we harness the wind? Like, this is a naturally available resource. So like, let's figure that out. And that allowed me to step into this role. So yeah, it was a new role at McCarthy. We had just had a lot of jobs where we didn't have good relationships with the engineers, and we figured we need somebody who can be a champion for them, get on the same page, and just build on that success and find a path forward.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah, before I know we got to go, but before you go, I got some merch for you.
he's got some merch.
So now the best merch I've got is from EBS.
Best merch. He's
Better than
going
the
to get
speaker.
a coffee tumbler.
Maybe a hat too.
Oh, and a hat.
There you go. Why not?
I appreciate
Hey,
it.
thanks for being on.
All right,
Nice
guys.
to meet- nice to meet
thank you.
Adam.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. We've got a couple more guests here. Some good friends of ours from EE North America, Michael Klein, Alex Ng. Guys, thanks for joining us. How's CleanPower thus far?
Been really good. Had a great show so far. Have seen a lot of familiar faces. What I really like about this conference is kind of like a reunion tour where you see everyone in the industry in one place and swap stories and get to talk to everyone.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, for sure. Thanks for having us. It's growing every year. There's always an excitement around it, so just happy to be here and meet new people and see familiar faces. So
Right on. So Michael's actually going to have a longer show with us coming up, so definitely make sure to check that out. We'll get to your introduction second then.
Yeah, fair enough.
But Alex, what's your background? Who are you? What do you like to do outside of the renewable energy space?
yeah, well, I'm Alex, head of finance for EE North America, so oversee our M&A and project finance activities. Outside of work, big outdoorsy guy. Like to hike, train for triathlons, and try to stay active.
And also in Austin?
Yes, yeah.
Cool.
So I'm in Austin. I've been there for about 2 years. Was in Houston prior.
Where
But
were
yeah,
you prior? I didn't catch that. Sorry.
Houston.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, Austin's a great city.
How many triathlons have you done?
A few.
Yeah?
I can't remember the number. But yeah, just enjoy being outdoors. Austin's quite hilly, so the bike rides are fun
And you also just finished the MS 150, right?
yeah, that's correct. The Texas MS 150, 150-mile bike ride split over 2 days. So I started in Austin and finished in College Station, Texas.
Okay.
So that was last weekend. So that was fun to be a part of as well.
Sweet.
So you just camp?
Yeah, camped in LaGrange overnight. and-
LaGrange, as in like the ZZ Top fame song?
Yes, as
Yes.
in the ZZ Top theme song.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
That's pretty wild.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun. We'll have to get some of you guys out there next year.
I would
Yeah.
gladly take that offer.
Chris is a
Absolutely.
big bike racer.
Yes, we don't have time to go into that, unfortunately, right now. Mike, I called you Mike. Is that okay?
Mike, Michael, Dave,
like-
David. I got like 20 different names.
Okay,
If you
okay.
know me.
I've never heard of Dave before.
Middle name.
Oh.
My middle name.
Who calls
Also my
anyone by
father's
their
name
middle
too.
name?
Oh, okay.
People
People do?
People do.
People are out there. Okay.
So hey, I'm Mike Klein, head of project development for EE North America. Work hand in hand with Alex with all of our projects. And yeah, what I like to do outside of work is very similar to Alex. Maybe not at the same speed as intensity. So long walks around the lake, camping, hiking. Just getting outdoors.
Yeah.
Especially in Austin, that's super easy to do. And it's a
Austin's
great city.
beautiful city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for Texas, you have all the rolling hills and trees, and it's a very unique part of the state compared to elsewhere.
So you guys, CleanPower 2024, any takeaways, thoughts, feelings? What have you liked?
I think it's been a really good show. I think compared to past years for this show, it's much more well-rounded as a conference. For historical reasons, it's been very much a wind conference for many years. And I think this is the first year where it really feels like an equal wind, solar, storage, and above all, Power to X conference as a well-rounded conference.
Yeah.
I think my main takeaways, I think like everyone in the industry, we're still a little bit nervous and maybe waiting on some IRS guidance, especially on the hydrogen front, which we work a lot on, and really the projects as a whole. Everyone's trying to solve the same problems, from supply chain to lack of labor to all these different issues. So it really feels like we're all in the same boat together, all trying to figure out how we row the boat to shore.
Right.
Yeah, just piggybacking off of that. Historically, I think the conversations have been around wind, solar, and this year it feels like a lot of my conversations have been around the hydrogen space and the Power 2X. One, because that's what we're involved in, but additionally, I think the market is growing towards that. The energy transition is definitely here, and people are trying to address this push for Power 2X and understand the market on a deeper level and address these challenges together. And there's an excitement behind that, and we can definitely feel it being here this year.
Nice.
So what is this? I was wondering, after kind of being here, I know it's only been one day, but what is it you're kind of seeing the future of our industry kind of going? Do you have any field? Is anything different than before you guys got here today? Is there anything you're seeing that's kind of like, hey, this is where the direction we're going to go in as
Alex,
an industry?
I'll let you take that one first because I want to formulate a little bit what I want to say.
Let him formulate.
Yeah, definitely direction, and I think because of the space that we're in Power 2X and e-methanol, there's definitely an evidence of more companies trying to understand how their companies can, one, enter in that space, but also it's still what I think is a niche market and a very growing market. And so we're fortunate to be in a company that is in the e-methanol space, and we're seeing more companies gravitate towards the e-fuel space, which is quite cool to see.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Alex. That's probably my main takeaway from the conference this year, too, is a lot of folks that I talked to a year or 2 years ago when the IRA guidance was just coming out and the hydrogen guidance was just getting started. Everyone was still very much in the learning phase around hydrogen and what you can do with hydrogen. This year, I feel as if there's a lot more understanding of the space. And there's a lot of projects that are in the pipeline that people are working on. And now it's just, hey, how do we execute these projects?
Mm-hmm. So maybe one final question for both of you. Why renewables? How did you end up here? Can you speak to that, say a few words?
I mean, I ended up in renewables mostly because I really liked the mission of what the companies were doing in the space. I was always a very technically minded person, and so it's a great industry if you just want to nerd out about, hey, why does this module work this way, or what makes this inverter tick right? It's the perfect industry for that, especially because we're still learning a lot of how to build these projects and how to produce the equipment and everything else. And two, it's really mission driven, right? At the end of the day, we're building projects and we're executing projects that not only help the local communities that they're in, but also help the state and, you know, the national interests to lower greenhouse gas emissions. And so for me, that's a real calling for me that gets me up every day.
Yeah, I've been in the energy industry since graduating college, and so one, just seeing the energy transition and how rapidly it's been moving is exciting, and it presents a lot of opportunities, but also a lot of challenges to figure out and to address as an industry as a whole. And there's an excitement to addressing those challenges together with like-minded individuals. Personally, behind the mission, it's something to get behind for me personally, and work alongside colleagues to address that. And also, yeah, I think it's an industry that a lot of people want to be a part of, and it's a tangible way to see how it's grown and how it affects communities and the environment. And I think that's just a really cool mission to be a part of.
Yeah.
So.
Well said. Gentlemen, thanks for being on the Sounds
Thanks
of
for having
Solar.
I got some merch for you guys. Hold
appreciate
it.
We get prizes?
Wait a second.
I love a
What
good
is
merch.
this?
I don't know.
Is that a Snuggie?
Okay.
Oh, he gets the pillow.
Ooh, I
You're
love
gonna sleep
this.
on that
It
one.
has a
tonight.
zip. It has a zip. What's in
It's
the
a
zip?
zip too.
Oh shoot! Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I've never felt so special in my life, guys. Thank you so much for this.
That's what we do.
Awesome.
Make
I'm
it
going
feel
to cherish this
special.
for a
It's the
long
least
time.
we could do.
Thank you so much
Thank
for being
you.
on. We
Yeah,
appreciate it.
All right, we have a very special additional guest. You may have seen him. You may have heard about him. He is the one, the only, Mr. Sohan Das. Sohan, greetings.
Whoa.
Welcome to the Sounds of Solar podcast.
Thank you, Chris,
How
Ross,
is
and
yes,
Prahalad.
and yes, gentlemen. Well, how is CleanPower 2024?
It's fantastic. This is the first time we have a booth this size at a conference, and it's been a great experience. It's great to not be running around everywhere and being able to host our guests here.
People come to you.
Yeah, and that's great. I might get used to it.
Yeah.
Just heads up to Andy.
So what has been the best thing you've seen so far today?
Well, I haven't gone around. I have only been in our booth, and
Well, it could be somebody came by.
yeah, we met a bunch of our clients, and that was great. Like, again, just have a comfortable place to sit and talk to people is much different than running around and being late to meetings and all of that.
Yeah.
So now we are never late to meetings.
I know.
Because we are here.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, these conventions can get so crazy because you're trying to make a deadline to arrive somewhere, but you don't know where you're going, and usually these places are not terribly easy to figure out where to go. So it's very
And the app
convenient.
is not really.
The app helps, but it's still not perfect.
And I think I saw something cool at the booth, Sohan. I don't know if you want to talk about it. There's an Apple gadget that I don't think I tried it on, but I don't know what it. Maybe you want to chat about what that is.
yeah, we have got 2 Apple Vision Pros here. Andy is very, very much into tech and continuous improvement. And so the purpose of having the Vision Pro here is to kind of show how this can be used in the future to help with construction and engineering. So, yeah, so that's been a good addition. Huge kudos to our marketing team, Christine, Jordan, all 3 of you, Dave, all of you guys have put on a great booth and, our podcast. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
That
there's one-
Apple Vision Pro, I did the AR dinosaur experience. Anybody else try that?
I did.
That was pretty wild. I don't know. I was just blown away that it comes right at you and feels like it's right there.
There's a video of you.
There is a video. There is a video of
that
me
we
that
might
will not
wanna
be
share.
released.
We'll cut the video of
me
Russ
playing
in right now.
No, we're not doing that.
I tell Andy that I'm grateful to him for saving me money because I wanted to buy the Vision Pro and then okay, we have one.
Yeah, right.
I don't need to buy one for myself,
Right.
spend that much money.
I mean, but just for real, that thing, I mean, there is a lot of untapped business potential in that.
The possibilities are
technology.
endless.
It's crazy.
I'm excited to do a site visit
Yeah, exactly.
from my desk.
Yeah, that's already happening.
I know, but we're not doing it yet. But I know it's
well,
happening.
No, I was joking with Will that we could probably do QC with that once we build something.
Oh, right.
We can do some quality checks, go around, just walk around, be like, what's this module stacked on top of the other module? Is that even possible?
Yeah. The future
For structural engineers, like concrete pouring, if you can see it live, wearing a Vision Pro, that's a big deal.
Yeah. So we touched on CleanPower right now. So maybe just give the listeners a refresher on why you arrived in renewable energy and how you got here and that whole shebang.
Yeah, so I grew up in India, and I lived in a city way in the northeast. It's really beautiful, a lot of greenery, mountains. But I did see that change, with a lot of development and pollution and air pollution. And my dad actually was the one who inspired me to do something for the environment. I would see him at home doing, rainwater harvesting and all those, little things to make the environment better. So that's how I got inspired. I actually did sustainable architecture as my master's. And so I wanted to design green buildings and all of that. And then recession hit. And then when I completed my master's, 2009, I found an opportunity in solar. And because I could do some energy modeling and because I could, I was good at AutoCAD, I said, hey, this is something I could do. And that's how I got started and never looked back.
So you kind of had the opportunity first. And I mean, you had the passion for environmental things at large, but solar at that point in time was like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah, it was drinking from the fire hose. I did learn a lot.
We're still doing that to some extent.
Yeah. We are, yeah.
It's a little more refined, hopefully, these days.
Yeah, one thing I really appreciated about then joining EVS is that earlier in my career, I learned a lot from engineers of record. I was managing them and I was kind of, being their client, but I learned a lot from them and I was like, I appreciate that's what made me appreciate engineering so much.
Yeah.
Right? Just learning from them.
What is the skill set you're looking for from somebody joining EVS today? If somebody wants to join EVS, what is that one skill set that you're looking for?
One thing we can never teach is attitude. Civil engineer, electrical engineer coming out of school, they probably have the right skills. Nobody knows solar coming out of school. We can teach solar, but we cannot teach the right attitude, right? And the right culture fit. So to me, that's the most important thing. And we can Obviously, they have to be smart. That's table stakes, and we will teach them how to do solar. But right attitude and the culture fit is very important for us.
What advice would you give somebody in college right now who's maybe thinking about wanting to get into the renewable industry?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very exciting industry. The advice that I like to give to, let's say, civil engineers or structural engineers, sometimes they look at the solar industry and they think that there's not much to do for us, right? But there's so much to do, there's so much to learn. It is a very exciting field. I think Chris can, just thinking about a structural engineer, thinking about solar, they might think, oh, I'm just going to do this much. But there's so much to learn and also expand beyond just solar as well, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. Don't think that this is going to limit your learning. There's tons of opportunities. There's solar, there's storage, we are doing substation. Hopefully we'll be doing transmission in the future. So there will be a lot of opportunities to learn.
Right.
So
It's good advice. I appreciate that. So if you're out there listening and you're in, getting into any of these, engineering areas, renewables is a very stable industry.
Stable in some ways.
It's going to be stable for the next 40 years. It's going to continue to grow.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's high demand. So definitely, if you're in engineering, renewables there's like Sohan said, there's a lot of different things you can do with it. You're not just stuck in one thing.
Right.
You're doing a lot of different
so many
stuff.
people, and that we don't know what the next thing coming next is.
Right.
We have a very
skill stacking.
Exactly.
You see a lot of opportunity to skill stack
Skill stack.
in the
Love
renewable
that term.
industry.
So.
means we have had people coming from the oil and gas industry, and they said it does feel a lot more stable, right? Because oil and gas does a lot of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Renewable does a little bit of this, but mostly going up.
Yeah, we're
Right.
mostly
So-
going up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Sohan, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to maybe squeeze one more guest in. We'll see. But thanks so much, and we'll see you
Thanks.
tomorrow at the office.
Hold on. Merch.
Oh, wait.
Merch.
Wait, most important part. You got to get
Thank you.
some merch.
Yeah. It's a pleasure.
You're going to get a koozie.
Oh.
Ready?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, you can
That's
put
for
it
you.
there.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
All right,
Enjoy.
thank you.
Thanks, Sohan.
So we did manage to squeeze in one more guest for y'all, Mr. Mike Benitez. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and obviously thanks for joining us on the Sounds of Solar podcast.
Oh, hi. Thanks for having me. My name is Mike Benitez. I've been basically in the solar engineering space for about 20 years. Started my career over at Florida Power and Light. I'm like one of the old guys in solar. Started my first solar project was actually in 2007.
Really?
Oh, wow.
So so like 17 years
We
ago.
thought Sohan was old, okay?
Yeah. Oh wow. Thanks.
He's not. And
What
neither
did you
you.
say?
And neither am I.
You said he thought
graduated-
Sohan was old.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
That's
We got to
what
get
he
him back on here to defend
Yeah.
himself.
Wow. So back when I did it, it was a massive project of a whopping 1 megawatt.
1 megawatt.
I mean, massive.
I'm sure at the time it was like mind-blowingly
Oh,
big.
yeah.
It's like
it was-
in Austin Powers. You
Yeah.
know, like $1 million.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly like that. And then actually my second solar project was about a year later, and it was a whopping 25 megawatts.
Well, that's
which-
a 25x increase.
Yeah, which
That
was the
is
funny part
crazy.
about it is it was so big at the time that President Obama came out and actually cut the ribbon.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And it actually is kind of funny because I work for Moss now, which that was Moss's first project, but I was actually on the other side of the fence
Oh,
working for the
interesting.
utility.
Yeah.
Was this in Florida?
Yeah, so this was in Florida.
Okay.
And
Did you say you worked at FPL?
yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it was in the great, very large town of Arcadia, Florida, which is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I feel like I might have been to that site, but anyways, I think I was working. We built DC-DC converters back in the day.
Okay.
With Allen Con systems, but anyway, I think one of the products must have been deployed in that region. I think. So,
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
very cool. Yeah.
So Mike, tell us what's the coolest thing or the best thing you've seen so far at CleanPower?
Oh, well, I mean, can I your booth's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
booth
cool.
is-
All right, we'll take it. We'll take that. Yeah.
Did you do the Vision
Oh.
Pro?
No, yeah, I did the Vision
You gotta
Pro.
do the
That was
Vision
pretty
Pro.
cool. Yeah,
Did you do
it
the
was pretty
dinosaur
neat.
one?
It was a little weird for me since I wear glasses and
Yeah.
like having to take my glasses off, and I'm like, that's a really cool blurry dinosaur. So I'll try to try it tomorrow with my contacts in.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was pretty cool. But I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of neat stuff here. Like I think some of the live tracker stuff was here. I actually liked some of the piercing connectors that I got to see.
That's from
obviously,
TE? The TE piercing
Yeah,
connectors?
the TE piercing connectors were pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then obviously like the whole friends, like seeing where people have gone, like, people I've known for years in the industry. It's always kind of cool catching up and having the excuse, getting to do some of the fun team building stuff. But overall, I think it's a pretty good time.
Yeah. Anything that catches your eye about future trends or anything like that?
Solar is still a growing market, and one of the advantages that I think we have in general is, it's still the cheapest form of like energy per watt, right? And that said, the more we ask for electrification of everything, and we have an aging infrastructure, the future is bright for solar, which didn't really intend on that pun.
We say that pun more than we care to admit.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional. But so I can't really speak to wind too much. But I know as far as like solar goes, it's, like I said, it's still the cheapest form of energy. So.
No, that's a good point. We had an episode earlier in the season where we talked about like misconceptions about solar, and that was one is that solar is expensive. And it's actually what people don't understand is it's the cheapest form.
Yeah, and it's cheaper before the credit. Everybody's like, oh, it's cheaper because of the subsidies.
Yeah.
Well, no, the subsidies make it really cheap.
Yeah.
But it's even without the subsidies, like solar would be just fine.
Yeah.
But it really helps. Like the subsidies help with innovation. There's lots of positive things to it. It helps with the rapid growth of our infrastructure.
Yeah.
So there's lots of positives to it. I don't want to take away from the subsidies in themselves, but
I think we were talking just last night about, in relative terms, I think solar is about, 30% cheaper than even a natural gas facility.
Yeah.
Like when you look at all the numbers, and it's like.
It's always hard to compare apples to apples because there's always all types of different considerations, but for the most part, it's considerably cheaper.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. So the big buzzword that we've heard so far today is BESS.
BESS.
What are your thoughts on, like, do you have a lot of BESS projects in the works for you specifically? Do you see that being a direction that your company is going to be going into?
Yeah, so we do quite a few BESS projects as it is now, and overall, we do see more BESS. We do see it more tends to be more AC coupled BESS than DC coupled BESS. And there's all types of, more than time than I have to explain why that is.
But we've all worked on DC coupled BESS. I think we know why.
And a lot of the advantages, right, is for us from like a construction company is a lot of the BESS projects are shorter durations.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool when you can try to like plan them out and kind of work with clients to fit them into lulls and schedule and keep things rolling. But overall, we definitely see the BESS market increasing because, the downside to solar, obviously, right, is it doesn't do a very good job at night. But people don't realize either that BESS actually does a good job of doing other things during the day.
Yeah.
Basically with grid stabilization, with helping the plants not curtail. There's a lot of actually benefits to it during the day also.
Yeah. So, Mike, one more question for you. We're a little tight on time, unfortunately, but if you had to give any advice or lessons learned, a young engineer maybe, or a solar professional coming up, what would you say?
So I think I would say that we are very lucky to be in a once-in-a-lifetime kind of opportunity, because I think eventually, like, the market will grow but like the industry will grow as well. Right now, everything's growing so fast. There's so much opportunity for people who jump in right now. It's kind of like that penny stock you wish you would have bought when it was a penny.
Yep.
Which we're lucky enough to know that, like, hey, there's a lot of there's a lot of things in the industry that can totally impact, like the direction we're headed in, right? We're trying to electrify everything. Electrify phones. We want to electrify trains. We want to electrify semi trucks. Yep. Well, you got to charge all of that. Oh, by the way, we're also growing as a country.
Yeah.
So we're going to expand our usages on electricity. We're trying to get away from natural gas appliances in our house, which is going to increase our amount of electricity. And by the way, we have a hard time keeping our air conditioners running in the summer.
Right.
So we got to grow naturally for that as well.
Yeah.
So we have all of this market pressure to grow. And then you have the cheapest form of energy. It's like, what are people going to pick? They want to save money.
Yeah.
And then it works out where, hey, this is actually good for the environment also. So overall, I would say jump in with both feet, and it's a good market, and I think it'll be here for quite a while.
Yeah.
It's great advice.
Awesome. Yeah.
I got something for you before you go.
Here we go.
Okay, cool.
What's he gonna get? What's he gonna get?
Get a hat.
Okay, cool.
This
Nice.
thing's
And I was gonna give him
This
that.
is not
you don't need that
terribly
in Florida.
yeah.
Here's a Yeti mug, coffee
Cool.
mug.
Although I like this.
Yeah, this is
Maybe I'll
sweet.
keep this one.
Hey, that's for you.
Thank
Take
you.
it. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All I had to do was talk for 7 minutes. That was worth it.
I was gonna give it to you anyway.
Easiest tumbler you've
Deal.
ever earned.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
so-
definitely the cheapest Yeti thing I've ever purchased.
That's true.
That is true. Yeti is not an official sponsor of the Sounds of Solar podcast. So for me, Christoph Brun, Russell Hamilton, Prahalad, Shiv Shankaran, our current guest Mike Benitez, our other guests that have been on the show. Thanks so much for listening and watching. Do that thing. Review, share, subscribe, ratings, all those
Comments,
things.
add some comments.
Do all those things. It helps us out a lot. And then we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.
One, chick, two. One, chick, two.